what really worthiness is the principle that we are all created equal. And that means you too. You are not exempt from being equal to everybody else. And if there are people who are rocking it out there, you are just as worthy as they are.
Welcome to the Impact Driven Entrepreneur, the podcast that helps you expand your reach and convert that reach into clients so you can lead your tribe with confidence and create change in the world while living the life you desire. And now your host, certified business coach and consultant, Mariana Ruiz.
Want to increase your sales without so much hustle? Oh my gosh. Let's talk about doing funnels. Funnels are like the thing right now, but whether it's challenge, a tripwire, a webinar, or even getting people on the phone, guess what? All of that is the same. It's a sales process and what some people call funnels, okay? And I want to help you with your sales process because here's the thing. When you can really master and improve that process, you will get more sales in your business. Normally inside of my 6-month coaching program, what I do is I actually look at everything that my clients do. I look at all of their copy, all of their emails, everything that they're doing inside of a launch or outside of a launch. And really, I want to bring that element to a small intensive for you. So what I want to do is offer you the opportunity for me to look at all of your emails, all of your copy, whether it's a challenge, a funnel, a webinar, or a sales call. I will actually listen to your sales call. Yeah, you heard that right. Okay, so in order to get this amazing offer, it's called a funnel intensive. You can find it at impactdrivenentrepreneur.com/work-with-me. You can purchase there right away, or if you want to get on the phone and just make sure it's a good fit for both of us, I'd be happy to chat with you. Let's optimize that sales process so that you can start generating more sales in your business without the grind. Welcome to the Impact Driven Entrepreneur. In this episode, I'm going to be chatting with you about worthiness and how you really and truly are already worthy of everything that you desire. So stick around with me and let me prove that to you. First, I want to get into how this topic came about. Okay, so around November of last year, I think it started off as a Facebook post about why I felt that people kept saying, charge your worth, you must charge your worth. And I really felt like that was actually hindering people and stopping people from getting the results that they really wanted and being able to charge the amount of money that they really needed to be charging. And so I really started to question this whole idea of charging your worth. And I started thinking about it and going through like, what is my take on this whole thing? And I came to the idea that I don't believe that the amount of money that you charge is exactly what you're quote unquote worth. And here is my stance on worthiness. I believe that every single person is created equal. We are all equal. We are all human. In fact, the other day, somebody was like, oh my God, I can't believe I'm actually talking to you in a text message because, you know, you're so quote unquote popular, internet famous is what they said, which I don't at all think I am. And if you've seen my posts online, you've heard me talk about the fact that we all poop. If you have little ones listening, they might be cracking up right now, right? But every single one of us poops all the same. It's always stinky. I'm a nurse. I've been there. I've smelled it all. And I really think that we are all equally worthy. We're all the same. We're all human beings, right? And we are all put on this earth as equal. And I think that we think of things in this way when it comes to civil rights, right? And, women are as equal as men, right? Or minorities and Blacks, African Americans and whites and Hispanics, we're all the same, right? Of course, we all think that. But then for some reason, we kind of turn things around and say, yeah, but I'm not worthy of success. And here's my philosophy. If you think we are all equal, then you are equally worthy, right? This is just you blocking yourself. This is just you not fully owning your value in the world yet. And I think that it's so easy for us to fall into this because our society, the way we've been raised, right? There's so many reasons. And really, when we go back to this knowingness, right, that everybody is created equal, we then automatically are reminded and we remember that we then, therefore, too, are also equal. We are also 100% equal to everybody else. And therefore, me having success or somebody else, right, like my mentors and their mentors, we're all the same. We are all created equal. And it is this pedestal that you are putting other people on that is blocking you from being equal to them, because you're the same as them. You're a human. You have struggles, you have daily life, you have obligations, you have responsibilities, and we all do. And so I think it's knowing that we are all 100% equal. That is one of the first steps to really owning your worth. Number 2, I think, is really like detaching from the amount of money that you are charging as meaning that it is defining any sort of worth. Because again, like I said, everybody is created equal, and therefore, what is indicating the amount of money that somebody can charge? And here's what I believe can make that difference, right? Because there are coaches, there might be consultants or professionals in your space who are charging maybe way less or maybe way more than you. And you're like, hold on, why? And somebody might have told you, or you might have heard, charge your worth. And then you're like, but some people are charging so little and some people are charging so much. What is the deal? And here's the thing. You are equally worthy. The only difference between the price points is really, it needs to be not determined based on worth. It needs to be determined based on the value that that person can create for their customer. Okay. So when you think of setting your price point, you're like, okay, what is the value that this is worth to my potential customer? And whatever that is your price point. It is not about worth. It is not about being better or less than somebody else. It's nothing of that nature at all. It is all about how much value that person can get. And so if you listen to the last episode, I gave an example about being at Business by Design Live with my mentor, James Wedmore. And I was there and he had asked me, okay, how can you guarantee that I'm going to make $20,000 in the next however many weeks? And I was like, this is what I would do. I would do this, this, and this. And then he said to me, well, if I did that, I would get at least $20,000 in 7 days or less. And so there's one big difference there, right? Between him and somebody who is just starting out in their business and has a baby business still and has a very small audience, maybe of just 100 people. And in reality, a lot of my clients, especially when I was starting, most of my clients had an audience of 0. Okay. And we were like literally starting from the ground up. And now my clients usually have about 100 to 1,000 to sometimes 2,000 people on their email list. Okay. But let's say that we're comparing James's audience. He's got I don't even know how many people he has on his email list, but definitely more than 65,000. Okay. So we're talking about the difference in the audience, right? So what is the difference in the value for a company that is way more established, right? Has a much bigger audience. What is the value there if I implement my same system? And this is the crazy part, right? I implement the same system for them and it will generate a totally different amount of money. So that's how you can kind of start to look at things, right? Who am I serving and how much of a difference does that make to them, right? If it's somebody, let's take a health coach for a totally different example, just so that you can kind of see this, right? Are you helping them lose the last 5 pounds or are you helping them to lose 100 pounds? I know one of my listeners, she helps people who have 100 pounds or more to lose, and she's incredible at what she does. If you need her help, I can gladly recommend her to you. Okay. So do you see the difference there, right? if you're going to be in it, number one, you're going to be in it a lot more for the long haul if you're helping them to lose 100 pounds. So it's going to be probably a lot more hand holding, a lot more long term of a program compared to somebody who it's just the last 5 pounds. I'm not saying that's easy by any means. I've lost all kinds of different amount of weight. And sometimes the last 5 pounds can be a little bit stubborn, right? And it's not even about that, right? But what is that worth to them? Does the last 5 pounds, does that make the difference between wearing a bikini and still wearing a one piece? Because for that person, that might be a big deal for them. Okay. So what is really the value that you're providing? And how much does that matter to them? Okay. Because that's ultimately the key. And so again, if you can do it via market research, you can do it via like trying different price points out in your audience and seeing what sticks. You can do it through A/B testing if you're doing more of passive income products and are doing it, funnels or whatever. But what I really, really want you to know is that your worth is not at all attached to the price tag on the product, program, or service that you offer. And that is where entrepreneurs, especially solo entrepreneurs, really, really get stuck, I feel. And I feel that it's really a disservice to you as a solo entrepreneur to think that your worth is attached to the price point of your program, product, or service, because it's not. We're all 100% equal, all of us. Okay? Next, I want to really talk about the whole thing that happens around worthiness, especially because I know a lot of you are moms and are also, you might be juggling a 9-to-5 or any other job, right? Or any other roles in your business. And what happens is, especially, I feel like this happens more to moms, and this happened to me a lot, especially in my first year business, is that I was attaching who I was as a person to being a mom. Okay. And it was as if I had kind of lost my identity. And I touched on it a little bit on my episode with Mary Catherine Johnson. I think it was like episode 2 of the Mom Entrepreneur Success podcast, right? So what had happened is I had kind of lost my sense of identity and who I truly was. And so I had to start to reconnect with who I truly was. And I did this by journaling, right? Mainly journaling and meditating and really going the spiritual route. I read a book called Conversations with God, which was super, super helpful if you're really, really wanting to dig deep on the spiritual side of things. I really highly recommend that book. But I really started going down the route of who am I really and truly, right? Because I know that I'm not the roles that I play. And I know that we are all created equal, right? And I know that we are all worthy. And yet I had gotten so deep into parenting, and I had, juggling 2 kids under 2. Hello, is stressful for anybody. And on top of that, building a brand new business, right? And so I had kind of lost my sense of who I truly was and who I really wanted to be as a person. And so going the spiritual route helped me to do that, and also detaching from the physical roles I was playing and really just asking myself who I wanted to be and really embodying that every single day. So that is number 3 about worthiness, right? Because if you are finding it hard to see your worth or see your role in the world beyond the things you're doing every day, then it might be time to dig a little deeper into the soul spiritual side of things, right? And whatever that is to you. I have clients who are, Christian, and they go down traditional Christian teachings. I personally go towards more woo-woo side of stuff, and I'm perfectly happy with all of that. And I really think like whatever will fill up your soul is really the thing that I'm asking you to do here. Is if you're feeling like you've lost your sense of identity of who you are, and that's why you're struggling to see your own worth, then I feel like that can be a really, really helpful route for you to investigate. And not to mention too, like total disclaimer, sometimes if you're feeling this lack of self-worth and this really, really deep depression, like do not hesitate to get support from a psychiatrist, a psychologist, like whatever you need to do. In my life, like throughout my entire life, I've dealt with my fair share of, depression and anxiety. And a lot of that, I think now in retrospect, right? I think a lot of that had to do with feeling unfulfilled at my job. That was what I felt was like my soul's purpose, right? Which was helping others and really like helping people through nursing. However, there were so many aspects that were rubbing me the wrong way, ethical dilemmas and other things going on that I really, really struggled inside. And it caused like a deep, deep depression because I couldn't really live out my mission in the way that I wanted to. And that's why being an impact-driven entrepreneur for me has been like the game changer. It has allowed me to feel really fulfilled in my life and be really, really happy. And I'm not saying that exactly for you is going to be the answer, right? But what I want you to do is don't be afraid and don't be ashamed of seeking support for if you're feeling like, okay, hold on, I just still can't quite find the right way, or it feels like a really deep depression, that kind of thing. Okay. Now, I know that one of the things that can happen is you might be feeling unworthy because you're comparing yourself to other people. And if you think that this is you, I want you to remember why you started. I want you to go back and be like, hold on a second, why am I even doing this, right? Because I pretty much think that those people have nothing to do with why you started because you didn't know who they were, right? But on a more serious note, I think that we can often get into this comparison trap rather than like finding our own uniqueness. And so if you feel like this is you, you're going down comparison mode and you're like, hold on, why would people buy from me if they can buy from XYZ or whoever might be a better coach than me or a better, whatever than me, whatever that dialogue is, I want you to go back to my branding series that I did, because there I help you to start to really pull out the pieces that make you unique between, your visual branding, your messaging, like what is it that makes you unique as a business owner? Why is your service different than the others? And when you start to really own that 100%, like 100% own that, that can really start to make the difference for you between comparing and also actually living, being, and feeling confident in your service. And so sometimes I think that this worthiness comes from comparison. And so I encourage you to go into looking at what makes you unique and realizing that nobody can be you. And so when you're just 100% you and you fully own that and you fully stand in that, you will know that you are really, really being authentic, and therefore you will attract the right people. Okay. And here's the caveat and side note. I used to be really terrified of really just being myself and really speaking my mind about things, especially online. And what I discovered really quickly was that, people are going to fall off anyway. Right? Like they're either going to like me, they're not going to like me, they're going to buy from me, they're not going to buy from me. A couple episodes ago, I talked about somebody who was a follower of mine who said that they were like a racist, but not just a racist. They were like a white supremacist. Now, if you know me, if you know my name, I'm Hispanic, I'm from Venezuela, right? And so why they were still following me, I have no idea. But my point being, people are going to fall off anyway. And I have no control over being Hispanic and being Venezuelan. I have no control over that. And so if I'm myself, I can at least know 100% that the person that they're liking or hating is really and truly me. And so if they like it, great. If they don't, that's okay, because that's who I am. And I'm still going to be that person even after they go away. Okay. And so this kind of melds in with that spiritual side I was talking about, but even more so, I want you to really get to know yourself on that deeper level. There's so many things you can do as well, to really start to get to know yourself on a deeper level. Some of the tests that I've done that really, really helped me was the Strengths Finder, and my friend Joy Martinez is a guru, literally legit. She knows her stuff on Strengths Finders. and helps you to really analyze your results and see what that means for you and how you can leverage your strengths in your business. So Strengths Finder is one. Another one that I did that was helpful was Myers-Briggs, and we can link to that in the show notes for sure, as well as How to Fascinate. That's a book by Sally Hogshead. So yeah, those kinds of assessments and tests can be really helpful for you to start to get to know yourself. And for me, especially the Myers-Briggs, because when I did my Myers-Briggs, I found out I think only like 2% of the population that are women actually have my personality type. And I was like, okay, this makes sense. Like, because a lot of times in growing up and my whole life, I kind of felt like a little bit of an outcast and stuff. So that really helped me to really feel like somebody finally got me. Okay. So whatever personality test you decide to go down or go explore, or whatever route you decide to start to learn and get to know yourself more, get to know yourself more. Like, this is really, really going to help you to feel more worthy and to start to really feel like, hold on, it's not because I'm weird, it's because I'm unique, and this is what makes me unique. And I also really love that about myself. Okay. It's an evolution, but once you start going down this path, you can really start to own it, all of who you really are. So again, go back to the branding episodes. There's 3 episodes all about how to stand out online. They should be right in your podcast player or on impactdrivenentrepreneur.com. So I want to wrap up this conversation about worthiness by reminding you that your value is not defined by your bank account. Your value is not defined by your external stuff, the house you live in and all of the stuff going on. Has nothing to do with that. What really worthiness is the principle that we are all created equal. And that means you too. You are not exempt from being equal to everybody else. And if there are people who are rocking it out there, you are just as worthy as they are. In fact, I implore you to see that as inspiration for what is possible for you, because them as a human being being able to do that means you are inherently just as capable of doing the same thing. So I want to remind you that you are amazing just the way you are, and that by you wanting it, whatever it is that you want, because there's probably lots of things, and maybe just this little bit of business success that you want is just a stepping stone for what you truly want. Maybe you want more freedom and time to spend with your family, or maybe you want vacations, or whatever it is you want. Just the mere fact that you want it means your higher self, your universe, or whatever you believe, God, has put that on your path. Okay? Because here's the thing. You could have wanted anything in the whole world, but you're not going out there trying to be an astronaut right now. Otherwise, you wouldn't be listening to the Impact Driven Entrepreneur podcast. So I want to remind you that the desires you want are only your desires because they are truly your path. And therefore, by you having role models, it's actually just proof that you are equally worthy of the same thing that they have. So that wraps up for the conversation on worthiness. I'd love to hear from you. What did you think of this episode? Is there somebody that you think could benefit? Is there somebody that you're like, oh my God, they need to hear this? Please send it to them. Just open up your podcast player and hit share, and you can either share it on social media or you can share it privately in a message with them. I'd love to get the word out that we are all created equal, and that means every single one of us. And of course, I gotta end it with a joke. And we all, of course, still poop and it stinks. Okay. So have an awesome day, and I will catch you later. Bye. Thanks for tuning in to another episode of the Impact Driven Entrepreneur. I hope you enjoyed that episode on worthiness. I definitely had a blast recording it for you. And be sure to hit subscribe, because in the next episode, I'm going to be talking about finding flow in your business. This episode was inspired by a conversation that we were having inside the Impact Driven Entrepreneurs Facebook group. If you're not in it already, just search Impact Driven Entrepreneur on Facebook and it shall come right up. And we were having a conversation there about this whole hustle mentality and if really hustling was like the way to go in your business or not, and how to really start to really find flow if you are wanting to find flow. And I have a lot to say on this topic, especially because one of my coach trainings, we talk specifically about flow and how to help people reach flow in their life. And so it's going to be more of a teaching episode because I'm going to be using a model, a psychology model, to actually show you how you can find flow in your business. And I think it's going to be a good one. Have an awesome day. Be sure to hit subscribe to get all of the updates on that one. Head on over to impactdrivenentrepreneur.com where you can find an arsenal of videos, blog posts, and previous podcast episodes to help you increase your profit and impact. Again, impactdrivenentrepreneur.com and click on blog. Enjoy.